What they gonna do to you in jail?
Why am I going to jail?
Let me show you.
What?
That's what's gonna happen to your little ass.
So James Gunn has an immense amount of pressure riding on him. Not only does he need to deliver a Superman film that's unique, stands on its own, but yet has the essence of who Superman is as a character. And it needs to be better than Man of Steel. It just needs to be better. Because Man of Steel, as much as I love Man of Steel is widely regarded as a very divisive movie. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's great, but I need more people to be on board with my views on that, but it's not going to happen. So James Gunn needs to craft a movie that resonates not only with the hardcore fans, the hardcore DC fans, the hardcore Superman fans, but the overall general audience, because those are the people that are going to pay to see this movie over and over and over again because of word of mouth. So salute to James Gunn. I wish you well. Hopefully you can deliver something that's magical. But this video is more talking about how Superman Legacy really needs to separate itself from Man of Steel, and how it can perform better and be better as a film than Man of Steel. So here we go. Clark Kent, the character, has numerous quirks and character-specific mannerisms. Outside the suit, he is a clumsy nerd with a sense of honor and compassion. The film should not give an origin story since it's been done time and time again. Instead, audiences need to spend time with Clark Kent in his average life, because Clark Kent, like I said before, is the character that we are going to spend most of the time with and really care about, rather than the aspirational figure known as Superman. Whether it will be working at the Daily Planet, living in Metropolis, or taking care of Ma Kent, it will allow audiences to get to know the man. Learning about the man behind the god would let viewers learn about other supporting characters. It would be a chance to humanize the cast, starting with Lois Lane. Rachel Brosnahan is a huge talent coming off her Prime Video series, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. In that show, her character is smart, quick-witted, hardworking, and quite funny. Those traits are the key ingredients to what makes Lois Lane who she is. She is a hardworking, honest reporter who will do what she needs to get a story. Her tough-as-nails reporter needs to have a well-rounded crew behind her. Along with Lois, the staff of the Daily Planet are also important of Clark's journey, aka Jimmy Olsen, which by the way, I believe it's going to be Skylar Gisondo, which, perfect casting, because he looks exactly like how I would picture Jimmy Olsen to be in the comic books. Clark Kent also has to understand what it means to be a journalist through these characters. Each one, Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, can teach him a valuable lesson and a necessary one. The reporters of the Daily Planet have to teach Clark that there is more than one kind of hero. Humanizing Clark in his interactions can add a new depth to the character, making him more relatable, humane, and his actions can have more of an impact throughout his Superman career. Also, the action sequences have to have some or a lot of emotional weight to them. It can't be just, mindless Michael Bay explosions. Again, I didn't feel that way towards Man of Steel because I get and I understood what Zack Snyder was going for. But of course, you heard the complaints about, it's too many explosions and Superman doesn't care about humanity and everyone's dying, but Clark Kent doesn't care, which, again, I disagree with that, but, it is what it is. Superman Clark Kent is an outsider within the modern world. His story is about someone who lost his home and had to start in a new world. It's a story that can be akin to the story of an immigrant. Adapting to a new way of life is something that audiences can relate to. Relating Clark's story to immigration is a key emotional stake for audiences to care about. That struggle can be shown in one of Clark Kent's most important relationships. His positive outlook on the world needs to come from the Kent family, which I'm hoping that, I think it would be really cool if Brendan Fraser were to be podcast. I think that would be brilliant casting because, if you don't know, Brendan Fraser was up for the role of Superman back in, I believe, 2004, 2005, when J.J. Abrams wrote the script. I think it was Superman Flyby. I think that's what it was called. Which, by the way, I did a review on that script. That script was fucking atrocious. That script was horrible. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. People who hated Man of Steel, you really would have fucking hated Superman Flyby. Ma, Pa Kent are staples in Clark Kent becoming a true superhero. In Man of Steel, audiences were given glimmers of their wisdom. Granted, their wisdom was brief, happening mostly in that initial Superman film. They have to influence who Clark is by teaching him about the world. And again, that's what makes Superman so special, is his innate love for humanity and caring about people that comes from the Kent family. Giving audiences a chance to know and experience these characters' roles can humanize Clark. The film has to spend time just as much as time in Kansas as well in Metropolis. He needs to learn human values, which will help him inform his heroism. The values of Ma Pa Kent need to inform Clark's decision making. Superman Legacy can be guaranteed to have sequences involving him saving civilians. In these sequences, Clark has to feel a moral duty to save the day. That inner battle of morality promises a Superman film unlike any other. Having the story spend time with the Kents can make Clark Kent more relatable. Making him someone with a moral compass can add a level of tension. That tension can create a superhero film that is more emotionally satisfying for audiences than what people had a problem with Man of Steel. That film had the obligation of setting up an entire universe as soon as possible. Instead, this Superman film can take its time with its action, story, and characters, which is what I've been saying time and time again. I think Superman, you can make a great Superman film if the writers and directors don't feel the need to constantly change him to make him relatable or make him cool or make him dark or make him edgy. Like, that's not the right approach to making a Superman film. How Superman Legacy can stand out for Man of Steel is quite simple. Legacy has to let Clark Kent spend time outside the suit. David Cornsway can help the more human version of Superman become a reality. Spending time with Clark Kent in his daily life can create a film that honors the character, fleshing him out along with those around him. Can create a Superman audiences care about, adding that sense of morality and duty can create a film that differs from Man of Steel. And of course, adding supporting characters like a Perry White, a Jimmy Olsen, and really focus the relationship between Lois Lane and Clark Kent and build that romantic tension and really make us fall in love with those characters. Again, like, that's what can separate Superman Legacy from every other Superman film that's been released over the course of 30 years. So I think James Gunn can do it as long as he has the right mindset, which we all know he does, because James Gunn, say what you will about him, but he is a massive comic book fan, and he understands the essence of who Superman is and all these characters. Like James Gunn took, even though I really don't like this film, the Suicide Squad, right? He took all these characters who are silly in the comic books, but yet gave them such a unique take and gave them so much heart, and you really fell for those characters. And I think, making those choices, those creative choices for characters like King Shark, Ratcatcher, the Polka Dot Man, Peacemaker. If he could do that with what he's going to do with Superman, I think if you're a Superman fan, this is gonna be fucking mwah, chef's kiss. So I'm looking forward to it. Hit like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Just #Sheeks. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think truth? I'm still gonna hashtag restore the Snyderverse. It's gonna come back, okay? You just wait and see. Or you're like, I completely agree. I think James Gunn not only has the pressure on his ass to make a great Superman film, but I do think he can make a really great Superman film. So let him loose. Love you all. Stay safe. Truth. Oh shit, man. Out.
But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.